Hey everyone, welcome to Mock Draft Monday over on the Dawgland. We are trying something new today, and what we wanted to do is get in here, do one of these live mock drafts as we head up to the draft over these next few months. Maybe do one of these every Monday and just kind of see how things change from now until draft day in April. Obviously, we'll have free agency, we'll have guys getting released, guys getting traded. So there's certainly a lot of things that can happen between now and then. But of course, I can't do this alone. Jack, man, how we doing today?
Doing well, man. This is exciting because we've been talking about doing something like this for the YouTube channel. So, whoever watches this, we appreciate y'all for joining us on our very first mock draft Monday. So, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So today we're going to be using the PFF Draft Simulator, and we kind of um, with the settings we kind of went right down the middle for everything. Um, do you use randomness middle, or do you leave that one alone? I can't remember what you had told me here.
I leave randomness alone just
Okay.
because if we changed it might be very chaotic and you just might see an off the wall draft pick, which I think we got to try to keep it as close to real as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be a good thing. So, we are going to start this. We are not going to do any trades in this mock draft. So we are going to leave that alone for now. Um, so let's hit enter draft here. Obviously, we're using the Browns. Um, we'll keep it on this full draft screen over here and start draft. And just about in every single mock draft that I've done on PFF, Cam Ward goes number one, which really isn't a surprise. Barring any sort of trades, I think it's pretty expected that Tennessee is going to take him. So, Jack, that gives us the whole rest of the board here sitting at number two. A variety of routes we can go. Like I said, no trades today, so you don't see like Oakland maybe coming up for a quarterback, the Giants moving up a spot for a quarterback, uh, maybe the Jets moving up to take a quarterback. So we have the whole board here. What are your initial thoughts with this entire draft class ahead of you?
I mean, the perception is that we're going to take a quarterback at two right now. I mean, all the national pundits, everybody from like every angle saying we're going to take quarterback. But when you look at the top of the draft right now, Anthony, there is some blue chip players there for the Browns to go get. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Will Johnson. If they want to go offensive tackle, which I think would be a reach at two, they could go that route with Campbell or Kelvin Banks. They could even go McMillan because I feel like the Browns probably want to go get a number two receiver to pair up with Judy, and McMillan has that ability with his size and speed. But personally, I don't know if we're going to do it as how we would want to do it, Anthony, or how we think it's going to go. But I honestly think, as things stand right now, and of course, there's 3.5 months to the draft, I think the Browns take a quarterback, regardless of if it's Cam Ward or Shador Sanders.
Yeah, it's tough because we don't have free agency. I don't know if we want to like factor that in. Maybe once we get closer to free agency, we can kind of maybe factor in guesses and how that will impact these drafts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, right now with the news we had the other day about Deshaun Watson, uh, re-tearing his Achilles, they obviously need to improve that quarterback position. It was unlikely he was going to play next year anyway, um, but now they really need somebody, and there's going to be reports from now until then about how Dion's probably not going to want Shador to play in certain markets on certain teams based on their past history. Cleveland's can definitely fall into those teams, um, but I think when you look at where this team is, you know, uh, taking the best available quarterback at the spot is kind of where they have to go.
Yeah, it just makes sense that to go quarterback right now. I know it won't be popular with our listeners, our viewers, Browns fans in general, because I think it's kind of split right now on Shador as a prospect, and of course the cloud looming over with whether Dion is open for him to come to Cleveland. But I think as of right now, it just makes sense to go quarterback here.
I mean, obviously PFF loves him. Looking at some of his grades here, over 90 on everything. A really good grade while under pressure. The thing with Shador, I think from what I've seen, is he will find himself taking way too many sacks, and that can definitely be a problem. Um, Now, he does his best to try to make things happen out of nothing. Um, there's a time and place for that, and I think in Stefanski's offense, um, there's more timing things, and I don't think he'll find himself in those sorts of situations going forward if he's a quarterback here. So we'll take Shador here and see how this progresses as we move on to the Browns. Next draft pick in the first or in the second round, we'll kind of hit on some of these, I think, um, which would be interesting. So, uh, the Giants, Travis Hunter, the Niners taking Will Campbell, Ashton Genty going to the Cowboys, Jack Sawyer going to the Rams, Tyleek Williams going to the Packers, the Ravens taking a corner out of Texas, Chiefs taking a tight end to maybe replace Travis Kelsey here down the road, which would be a pretty good pick for them, I feel. So
Yeah, that's a good pick.
as we sitting here at the top of the second round, like I said, we're not doing trades, but I feel like there's two routes the Browns could go with this pick at the top of day two. Obviously, you would have teams wanting to trade up for it, but at the end of day one, Jack, they could definitely trade this pick to get back into the first round, um, and be able to have that fifth year option on a guy maybe at a premium position. I think that's something that we can, play with later on. But I feel that that's definitely a possibility. Let's look at some of the guys here at the that are available with this pick. Um, we have a receiver, Matthew Golden, a couple defensive players, T.J. Sanders, interior out of South Carolina, Walter Nolan out of Mississippi, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, Princely. I'm not even going to try that last name. Um, Out of Ole Miss. You have a couple offensive tackles available: Wyatt Millum and
Yep.
Greg Zabel out of North Dakota State. So um, certainly a number of places the Browns could go here. When you look at tackle, edge, how would you? Obviously, those are premium spots. Where would you rank the importance of those with the Browns currently?
Well, I think right now, like we know left tackle's a big need. Jed Wills is going out the door as an unrestricted free agent. Jermaine Ifedi's not a long term guy. You also wonder about right tackle with Jack Conklin's future. Is his guaranteed money's up? But I do think there's a strong likelihood he comes back next season on a reworked contract. So I think left tackle's huge. I think they could go edge. Just because like Abdul Carter's up there at the top of the draft, he'll be an option at two. You have Alex Wright, you have Isaiah McGuire, you still have Okoronkwo, but he could be a cap casualty. So they could add another young edge and like Landon Jackson, very massive. I think he's like 6'7", 280. Like putting him there in that room with Miles and the other guys would be amazing. But I keep thinking like we can't avoid offensive tackle because left tackle is such a pressing need. We just drafted a quarterback, so you should probably do right by the quarterback, add to the offensive line, but they can also even go receiver. You mentioned Matthew Golden. He's the best player on the board. Like Texas has had some pretty good receivers here the last couple years. Like I think he would definitely be in the discussion if he was still on the board at 33.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate because he sustained an injury early on in that Texas Ohio State game, so you really couldn't see what he was able to do. I mean, to Ohio State's benefit, but He didn't really get to showcase on a big stage, what he's able to do. Um, so yeah, I think there's a handful of routes. I love Landon Jackson, just the size and what he's able to do. Um, I don't know. I think tackle is kind of the route that they have to go. As much as I love Landon Jackson at this spot, I feel tackle is kind of where they go here. So when you look at these couple of guys at tackle, you have Wyatt Gray, Cameron Williams still available as well. Um, where would you go with this one?
I'd probably go Millum. I've mocked him a couple times already in my mock drafts that I do on the northcoastsports.com. There's some draft sites listing him as a guard, and I feel like once we get some measurables on these guys, I think it'll really tell the tale. But this guy was 3-year starter at offensive tackle for the Mountaineers, pretty clean as a prospect. Didn't allow sacks the last 3 years. What was it? A combined 30 pressures altogether, 31 pressures or so. So very good zone grade, which is I think pretty key, Anthony, considering it looks more or less likely that we're going back to the Stefanski style wide zone scheme in terms of blocking. So Wyatt Millum, I think, makes a ton of sense here at 33 for the Browns to address left tackle going forward and plug him in there. Maybe not start him right away. Maybe you sign a veteran of some sorts. But Millum, you peg him as to be hopefully the offensive tackle of the future.
Yeah, I think tackles much needed, and I agree. I think Wyatt, looking at some of these guys here, especially the run blocking is going to be extremely important, and that's something that Jed had struggled with. He struggled with a lot of things, but the run blocking there too was not great. So we'll go with Wyatt and see how the rest of this board shakes out at the end of this second round. I saw JT Tumolo go. Cam Williams almost lasted all the way to this pick. The Giants took a quarterback, Jalen Milrow here. Uh, we got a couple different options as we hit this. Dylan Gabriel went to the Steelers. That
Ooh,
would have been an interesting one. Um,
Matthew Golden is still available for us. Is there red flags on him that we don't know about?
I don't know. Uh,
I mean, this seems like a no brainer. Like, go look at his first look real quick.
6 foot.
6 foot, almost 200 pounds. Go back to his stats real quick. I don't really have any advanced stats, which is 58 catches on 83 targets. I mean, that's,
17
we need
yards per
to,
reception this year.
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, in that type of offense in Texas, he put up some good numbers. I mean, I'm okay with going with Golden here if you are, but I mean, we can look at the other options on the board.
Yeah, there's a couple
Like, we need a
options.
safety, linebacker wouldn't be bad.
Maybe a right tackle. I'm not sure what Jonah played here. Yeah, he played left and right tackle at Arizona this year. Maybe drafting one to develop, but maybe not right now.
Yeah, maybe not right now, but I mean, corner. I think corner is going to be something that might surprise people if the Browns took one in the top 100, but not really, because like Newsom could get traded. Emerson's probably not going to get extended yet. He needs to really rebound in 2025, and Denzel's not getting any younger. Obviously, the durability is an issue, even though he's still playing at an All-Pro level. Like, if they took a corner in the top 100, I wouldn't be surprised. So I think that would be in the cards here too.
I feel like corner could be one of those things at the end of the first round that they could trade back up into to grab
Yes.
because of that fifth year option. Corner, edge, receiver, any of those
Offensive tackle,
offensive
like those are
tackle.
the premium positions. Yeah,
Yeah, and the longer you have those guys on rookie contracts, the better off your team is. Um, yeah, I'm good with Golden. Obviously, running back, Travion Henderson. I know this is a deep running back class, so
yeah,
there's a lot of options going on, um, down the road here. So I'm okay with Golden if you are to pair somebody up with Jerry Judy.
yeah. Let's do it.
Right.
I think we can get a good running back here at 93 if we wanted to. Look, Judkins,
Judkins.
Harvey.
DJ Giddens.
Yeah. Yeah. The running back draft is so deep here. Like,
The fact that Judkins is here in the third round.
but
Is
he hasn't declared yet. And obviously, like, I
That'd be
think
crazy if he came back
the deadline's this week. But like, if you're in the
before the
Ohio
title game.
State, um, so like the deadline is this week, and then if they're playing in the title game, like Ohio State and Notre Dame get an extra week. So I think it's
Okay,
like the 21st or 22nd. It's like the hard deadline.
that's something that they on top of the transfer portal. These sorts of deadlines. Like I feel like the transfer portal needs to open up after the title game, or at least until after like the semifinals. Um, you know, but that's a whole other topic for a different day that we could talk about. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Judkins, Harvey, Giddens, um, a lot of these guys are pretty damn good. Um, when you look at the Giddens has 32, 20 catches out of the backfield. Harvey has 20. They all have 20 catches out of backfield, which is kind of interesting. Um, but I feel like I noticed this little limiter here. These have 50 plus zone attempts, so
And Judkins was elite as a zone runner, which I think is pretty good. So was Harvey. So honestly, Anthony, if you go back to best available, I think that linebacker from UCLA was still available, and I feel like we can grab that linebacker, Carson Schwezinger from UCLA. Check his age real quick because I always look at this redshirt junior, so he's probably good at this point. We could probably take him to solidify the linebacker room. We could probably still get a running back at 103. So I mean, it's your
well,
call though.
but
So
you also have a couple safeties here, which is a position I know.
and
Uh,
and that secondary played pretty well for the most part on Friday against Ohio State.
would you be opposed to taking a safety and then trying to grab one of the running backs? Because I feel like where the safety room is, and we could look at the depth chart here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Delpit. I don't think Thornhill will be back. Uh,
No, he'll be cut before free agency starts, I think.
McLeod retired. You have Ronnie Hickman. So I mean, you really only have a couple guys, Delpit and Hickman, going into next year.
Yeah.
Maybe they could find a veteran in free agency. Um, but I feel that you know Andrew here
And
played more free
he,
safety than strong safety because he played all these deep snaps. So
and look, he didn't allow a touch. Go back to his stats real quick. He didn't allow a touchdown. He had 5 interceptions. His passer rating was 12.1. So if the Browns are trying to find that three safety that I feel like we've been begging for years and years, like drafting him and developing him behind, like let Hickman get the first crack. Like obviously he's not the best tackler as you could see, but I think we need more of a deep
well,
coverage safety.
he's average in terms of tackling. This is just where he's making his run tackles. Uh,
True. He's
so,
yeah.
but if
So
you're
he's like
playing
the Joe
free,
Schobert of safeties.
if you're playing free safety, I hope you don't have too many running tackles. So
Right. So yeah, I am fine with Makuba right here. And then I feel like we can get a running back at 103. That'll definitely help.
yeah, I'm down for that. So let's do Makuba and see what our picks of in terms of running backs will be. There went Judkins, there went Giddens, and
All of them went
Harvey
off the
all
board.
went off the board. So our plan
Yeah.
totally failed there. But that's okay. I feel like there's other options here in terms of um, running backs. But all right, so we do have this linebacker still on the board. We do have another safety. He played kind of the same spot, so maybe not.
Had a D tackle who's pretty good pass rusher.
Pretty good run defender. It's
Yep.
interesting his pass rush grade is a 64, but he won a lot of his win rate. Um, Run stop rate really good. 6'2", 325, a senior.
A
Um,
tiny D tackle. Height wise.
let's see, you got Katrin Allen, who had over 50 zone attempts and almost an 80 grade there for zone.
Go
Very
back to like all
very
or
consistent all 3 years
yep.
as a running back.
You go to all the running backs real quick.
Yeah,
Ooh, Singleton's there. I really like Nicholas Singleton.
this one average draft position 106 and wow, very it'd be interesting to have another
6.5 yards per carry this past year at Auburn.
yeah 21 catches out of backfield, so nothing too crazy there.
Yeah. I would out of those running backs, I would take Singleton, but because I'm more familiar with his game than the other two, which
40,
is funny because Allen went to Penn State too. But
41 catches out of backfield, 12 touchdowns this year. That's pretty good.
yeah,
6'1",
yeah, this would be my guy
226.
here. This would be my guy here at 103. But
You
I'm
think
open
you
to
think we get him later or no?
no. I think he'll probably be off the board.
All right, let's go. Let's go with single. As we get
And then
onto
we got a
the,
long wait.
I was gonna say, as we get onto these later picks, I think we won't have a whole lot to say because you get into the point where these are just names at this point.
Yeah,
There might be a few that are like, hey, we recognize Cody
Cody
Simon,
Simon.
linebacker
I
would be
mean,
good.
tight end we could use.
Tight end. Shea could be there at the next pick. You could hardly go wrong, I think, with Iowa tight ends because they will block. Uh,
Yeah,
that's a big thing. Some of these guys, not entirely familiar with.
I'm really not either at this point. Miles Frazier, I've drafted a few times. He's pretty solid as a guard. He'd be a developmental guy. Pair up with Zinter and hope that those are the future. But
Easy pass block rate, but not really great zone run.
yeah, that's the only thing. He's not a great run blocker.
Fairchild is one that I've taken a handful of times and it's pretty solid across the board. I think we can get him later on.
Yeah, I would. I mean, at this point, I'd go Simon and then hope for Fairchild there at 190, and then
Yeah, let's go with Simon because you really don't know what's going to happen with JOK. With that injury
yeah,
and coming back, we haven't really heard too much about it. All right, so we got Luke Lachey.
he's not a good run blocker.
Fairchild's still there. Edge. I saw this one was intriguing in terms of pass rushing.
Good lord,
Yeah,
what's his? What's 6'3",
redshirt
252?
redshirt senior. So
Redshirt senior, so he's
he's
old
old,
man.
but the thing with NIL now, we're gonna have a lot more older players because they're gonna stick around in the college. So I'd be very curious to see, how those guardrails are gonna be with all of these older players moving forward um, in the draft. But
I do we take a corner yet?
we have not taken a corner. Got a couple here: Jason Marshall, Igbinosun from Ohio State,
I mean,
and
honestly, I don't want to. I
Mitchell
don't want to
Evans.
risk it.
Terrible.
I don't want to risk losing Fairchild at this point, so I would just take him. Because then we got
We have like
like
three.
UC.
We have all these back-to-back picks here.
That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, we just get the guys we want. So like,
Go Fairchild.
I really don't care what PFF says about our grade.
All All right.
Jackson Dart is on the board.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's crazy because some people are really high on him, but PFF isn't. But then PFF's really high on like Gabriel and Will Howard, and everybody else sees them as day 3 picks.
This crazy edge rusher still here. Virginia Tech. Um,
Let's take him because he's got great pass rush ability.
once you get
We
into the
always say,
sixth, seventh round, it's okay to take the older guys at this point. I feel like
right, and as we always say, you can never have enough pass rushers.
that is the motto of this podcast. And
Yes,
has been for almost 8 years now. So,
since the beginning. Yep.
would you be opposed to taking two running backs in this draft because of uncertainty with Nick Chubb? Obviously, Jerome Ford's going into the last year of his deal. Would you be opposed into taking two?
I wouldn't be. I love running backs. I know some people in the Browns community wouldn't be fans of it, but let's see what running backs are available. I see what Marks from USC is there, but
Especially with all these picks that we have, I feel like that wouldn't be terrible.
see, I liked Sanders and Edwards this past year, but like they kind of regressed. He's pretty, yeah. Marks had 47 catches.
Sorry if I'm clicking too. I get
No, you're fine.
I get the happy trigger here with the looking through these.
See, Donovan Edwards like regression has like stunned me because like he had the great 2022. Last year he wasn't that good, and this year he kind of fell off too. He doesn't fit. Obviously, his zone grade is awful. Sanders, I really liked, and then like he coming into 2023 last year, then like he's regressed too. He had a okay bounce back year.
27 catches out of backfield, over 10 yards a catch. Uh, Pretty good. I don't know, not opposed to any one of these three guys, but I think Jaquindon, just based on the ratings, I think would probably be the best one.
Yeah, go back to him real quick.
5.4 yards per attempt, 15 touchdowns. Not really a pass catcher.
He did that back to back years. Yeah, take him at this point.
6'2", 233 would probably be a goal line guy
Yeah, he'd be
at
like
that
a
size.
Deontay Foreman or Kareem Hunt. Yeah, take him. Then you could pair him up with um who was the other running back we took? I completely blanking
Singleton.
out. Singleton, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reshape that room and then
Let's see here. We got a couple linebackers here. I think we're good on not taking any more quarterbacks. Um,
Kobe Bryant's on the board.
Fascinating how they spelled Kobe.
Right.
Do we want to look at corners?
Um
Because I don't think we took.
yeah, let's look at corners. Let's look at Kobe. He's pretty consistent, good run defender.
Pretty good zone, pretty consistent all across the board.
Let's take him. He's the best on the board. I wouldn't be opposed to taking another like offensive lineman at this point, like if it's another tackle perhaps.
This pretty decent stout guy here. I see an older guy, 6'2".
We didn't take a D tackle yet either, so that's because I could definitely see that. I could see us taking another receiver.
At this point, these are guys that you probably target as the undrafted free agents, where you could actually draft them, get them in here.
Oh, scroll back up. All Will Shepard. Click on him real quick. Because all three Colorado receivers are
See, Wester's the one
okay.
that.
You're getting too clicky,
Sorry,
jokey.
sorry. Just yell at me like that. That's fine. Uh, when I've been doing these, I've seen all three, and Wester seems like he's a small guy though.
He's small, yeah.
5'11", 167, 167. Wow. Um,
What about Jimmy Horn?
he's 5'10",
He's 5'10",
170.
170. Not the fake. Obviously,
Yeah,
like Travis Hunter was the number one receiver. He's
6'3".
6'3", he's a grad, so I don't know how old he is, but I feel like I've taken him a few times in the simulators. Like
13 yards of
obviously he had a
receptions, 6 touchdowns.
yeah, he had a down year, but like, maybe
Well,
there's chemistry there with Shador,
I was
and
gonna say, do we want to take one of these guys just so they're maybe a little familiar with them?
I'd take Shepard here.
And I was
There we
eyeing
go.
best couple tackles. Another safety option, great in coverage.
I can't see them taking two safeties.
Other edge guy,
He only played in 2 games.
injury maybe.
Yeah. Let's look at, is there any offensive tackles left?
Ernest Green,
And he's not very good.
center maybe. Guys are
And
played.
and any one of these guards could be a potential center too, if
Right.
they've got experience at it too.
Well, let's see. This Nash Jones played 2 years at left tackle and then played center
Left
last
guard.
year. Or yeah, left guard. Yeah, Conley played right guard. Josh Gray played all left guard after playing 2 years at left tackle. Cooper Mays
He's 3-year starter at
at center,
center. He's okay. I
4
could
years
see
old.
them. Tennessee guy. Maybe Haslam pounds the table for him on day 3.
Thoughts, opinions?
Um,
Doesn't really matter. I know as we sit here to the last pick of the draft.
yeah, I mean, take the center. And we go over the picks again.
Eh, I know we said we weren't caring about PFF grade.
I don't understand how Golden's an F.
Maybe just because there's no information on him yet in there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's probably part of it. Um, I would assume they think that we reached for Shador, which is why they gave us an F
Oh,
there.
definitely. He's there. PFF's not high on him.
Which is crazy because of the grades that he has for the
Yeah.
season. So just kind of recapping this, Shador Sanders, Wyatt Millum, Matthew Golden, Andrew Makuba, Nick Singleton, Cody Simon, Fairchild, Antoine Powell Ryland, Jaquindon Jackson, Kobe Bryant, Will Shepard, and Cooper Mays. They gave us a C for the draft, but and we really weren't caring about the grades on this one. I'm sure we could do plenty that um, we could really focus on the PFF grade. But your overall thoughts on this draft class?
I I always look at the top 100, and I think we came away good. We got hopefully a future franchise quarterback, future left tackle, a wide receiver that could be a playmaker, a great free safety, hopefully that we can develop down the line, and then I'll count pick 103 as well, getting a running back that we hope isn't replacing Nick Chubb immediately, but could be our lead back in the years to come.
Yeah, I'm there with you. We got some definitely quality positions with those first three picks. Which I think is what Barry kind of prioritizes over others. Obviously, the quarterback's the biggest thing, and there's a handful of different quarterbacks that we could take in this draft class that we'll be doing on these mock draft Mondays. I feel like, and kind of swapping around different positions. So, I this was a fun exercise. We went about
Absolutely.
35 minutes here. So I think we're gonna try and do one of these every Monday from now on, and up until the draft, and maybe the week leading up to the draft. Maybe we'll do one like every day or something. But any final thoughts here? We getting on out of here.
No, that this was a fun exercise. Hopefully, our viewers liked it as well. And if they did, go down and smash that like button. And if you don't haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel as well.
I thank you for covering part of what needed to be said here, and be sure to follow Jack on X over at Jack McCurry 08, me at Anthony Jokey, the Dawgland at the Dawgland. Until next time, always remember, go Browns.